Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a disassembly video for you with this guy. This right here is a CKF Morrf. I'm sorry, it's got two F's, so it's a Morph. But anyways, interesting knife, and I want to thank my buddy John for sending this guy along. So let's go on ahead and just jump on into it here. You can see immediately that there are a bunch of screws on here, and that the stop pin is not going to come out. That's fine. And that this pivot over here, I hope this isn't free spinning, is still accessible from the other side there. See, folks, great example of how to make a really pretty pivot that doesn't end up causing problems for your final users. I'm going to go ahead and take a bet on Torx T8 for the pivot here. I think I could probably do T9 there. Yeah, T9 is probably a better solution, but T8 would have worked. So that's popped out. One thing I want to say is that the knife had a little bit of grittiness to it, and that's what I'm really hoping to get rid of during the course of today's disassembly here. Because I took the pivot out on this side, I'm going to go ahead and disassemble it from this side. Doesn't look like that'll provide any problem, but that's the plan here. I'm betting on T6 for these guys. Let's see if I'm on the money. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so pivot, and then this is the spine. Actually, if I'm doing it, let's do it like this. Just arraying these in the order roughly taken off the knife. You got 3 backspaces here, which is pretty beefy. Whoa there. And the knife is disassembling itself already. Okay. Now, this is interesting. Are these 2 different sizes? No, okay, they're the same size. I'm just crazy. Don't mind me. Man, there we go. So those 3 screws look to be about the same. No sense in keeping them separated, but I'm going to do it anyways. Let's get the blade out of play here. And then I should be able to just lift this back scale off. And there we are. Oh, this is dirty. It needs love. Looking forward to this. Oh, boy. Okay, just using some rubbing alcohol here on a cloth. And I'm going to go ahead and just go to town on this. Cleaning off the lock face, cleaning off the detent ball. I like the interior milling here already. That's not bad at all. We've got some, I don't know if that's adhesive. No, that's some issue with the metal itself. Looks like a gouge, some kind of a surface defect. Whatever, not a big deal. But, and better that's on the inside. I'm always, I struggle a little bit as a reviewer to deal with interior defects on knives. There are knives where the interiors are really beautifully done and where somebody clearly cared and put a lot of effort into it. And that's nice, but at some level, I don't think it's healthy for me to complain about the interior of a knife having defects like that because, honestly, it doesn't matter at all. And I'm just being a spoiled little crap if I keep going that approach. So, it's nice when it's done perfectly. Perfectly, wow, that's not how you talk. I got enough issues talking as it is. But it's nice when it's perfect on the inside as well, but I'm not going to deduct any points for something like that. They're just smartly using materials that they've already got. If that were on the outside, then we'd be having ourselves a slightly different discussion here. These bearings are dirty, dirty, dirty. Pop out the pivot. Go ahead and wipe off the bearing race here. No sign of that otherwise. I'm not going to pop off these back spaces because honestly, what's the point? It's just running the risk of damaging a couple of more screws here. Let's pop the pivot. Let's clean the pivot off. This is excellent. I had an afternoon that was a little bit stressful here and there. Just trying to get some results on a project for work, and it was just fighting me every step of the way and scaring me in between. And so to be able to come home and do a little bit of this and really improve something, even if it's just the action of a folding knife. It brings me some joy, I'll be real. So I am very, very happy about that. And again, I want to thank my viewer John for making this possible, for specifically saying, yeah, Nick, go ahead, take it apart, no problem. Because there's some faith in there. This is not an inexpensive knife. I wouldn't do it if I didn't feel somewhat competent on occasion. Okay, is there anything else I give a damn about here? No, I don't believe so. So interestingly, I'm noticing that this is a free spinning pivot here. There's nothing that's actually stopping this from spinning around. And so that changes the calculus a little bit in terms of how I'm going to treat it. I'm going to use very, very little in the way of Loctite, and I'll use the blue stuff. Because you never want to do with a free spinning pivot too much Loctite, because you run the risk of, well, locking the knife shut forever. And that's no good. At least on this knife you could use like a flathead driver in that weird thing on the other side there. But anyways, okay, so we're going to build this guy upside down. Generally, I like to start with the pivot on the frame lock side, but, you know, whatever. This will do the trick. These don't really have a side. It's okay. So I'm going to start off by putting a little bit of lubrication on this. The action on this knife is actually really good already, so I'm really hoping that this will go to the next level after a little bit of love, seeing how much gunk was in there to start with. Okay, I'm going to drop a bearing on there. And this is using interior bearing pockets on the blade itself, which is fine. It's a great way to reduce the overall width of the blade. It's something I appreciate. Oh, God, that's smooth. Okay. Beautiful. Drop in the stop pin. Now I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, now that I've given this some spread around the lubrication. Yeah, we're good. I'll lubricate the inside of this here, the bearing race on that side. Again, making sure these are... There's no sidedness to them. Come on now. And go ahead and lubricate the far side here. Alrighty. Last thing I want to do is a dot of lube on the detent ball and fill the hole up there. There we go. Okay, are there any other parts I've left out of this? No. No, there are not. Unlike with IKEA furniture, usually having parts left over is not a stellar thing. So one disadvantage to doing a knife in this way, where you're building it from the presentation side up, is that you have to manage the lock bar a little bit more actively to get everything in place. So it's just a little frustrating sometimes. Not the end of the world, though. I'm going to use some Loctite on the scale screws because... There we go. Well, because I said so. Again, not using very much of it, but just putting it in there. I see no problem getting this back apart. Hand tighten that, or finger tighten that. Some days I feel like I should be using a torque wrench or something for this, but at the same time, I don't know the acceptable amount of torque on these, and it varies so much from knife to knife, too. And very often, the amount of torque is how you adjust, at least on the pivot screw, is how you adjust for the action in general. So I'm going to go ahead and put the pivot in. Oh, a little tiny bit of Loctite here. Come on. I am just using the very last dregs of this Loctite bottle. And I'm paying the price for it. Okay, I bet that was T8, was it? No, I said it was T9, rightly. So we'll put that in there. But anyways, I've got the blade at a 90-degree angle because sometimes that's actually important. A 90-degree blade angle is the time where you get the best centering. This is 100% locked down now. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Oh, that's nice. Interestingly, I still hear a bit of that grittiness. It could just be that there was a little bit of unevenness in the detent path. Let's see if you can hear this. Not necessarily sure what it is, but with the action being this good, I can't really say I got complaints about it. So anyways, there you go. Everything looks to be good. No leftover parts. Life is good. And so, be on the lookout for a full review of your CKF Morrf coming up here soon. And, yeah, I hope this morphs into a really excellent day for the rest of you. See what I did there? And bye now.